Hey YouTube world, welcome to Fairy Flow with Yoneko, where I teach you how to create a soft life on purpose. I am Yoneko, the soft life coach that you didn't even know you needed. So if you're ready to make these minor shifts that makes great transformations, then this is the channel for you. Please make sure you subscribe so that way you can stay tuned for when I post future videos, okay? So today's topic I want to talk about is becoming her while being a full-time mom or a full-time employee. I'm specifically talking to the moms. However, it can apply if you're not a mom and you have real life responsibilities, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it, right? Everybody is online talking about how to become her, but nobody's telling you how to actually become her when you have kids, when you have a job, when you have a house to clean, when you literally have a whole life and a whole ecosystem outside of yourself to maintain, right? So let's go ahead and talk about what becoming her actually really looks like. Not just in theory, not with the fluff, not with, the cutesy things, but real life, practical, soulful, shifting steps, okay? So when you think about her, I want you to think about who she is, right? Like who she is at her core. Not the version of you that's like chasing the bag or working a 12-hour shift, but the version of you that is grounded, that is radiant, that is centered, and is truly at peace, right? That's the version of you that makes the decisions out of alignment and not out of urgency, right? It's more so not what do you have or what are you like doing externally, but what do she think? What do she not tolerate? What grounds her? What does life really feel like in every moment? And before anything else, you have to define your version of her. Not my version of her, not your mom's version of her, not the TikTok influencer's version of her, but your version of her, right? Not society's version of her, but yours, because at the end of the day, y'all got to remember, this is your life that you have to live. So when you create your life, you have to create a life that is sustainable for you and not for society, right? Something I've always said on TikTok is keep society out your home because they have no business being there. Anyways, again, like I said before, we're not talking about what she does for work or how she show up for others or what she does when she's alone. But we're talking about what she does when she's alone, right? When nobody else is around, when the responsibilities are done, when things are crashing down, when things are going good. What does she do when she's alone? What time does she wake up, right? What is her morning flow? How does she speak to herself? What does she do after the kids are in bed or after she get off of work? How does she actually nourish herself, right? And this is the most important part when it comes to becoming her and quantum leaping, right? And this is what most people skip over, right? We set these goals to become the best version of ourselves or to become this future version of her, but oftentimes we set these goals outside of ourselves, like a bigger house, a nicer car, a better job or a business, or things like that. But the actual work of becoming her is actually being the person, not having what she has, right? So again, these are the same questions that I ask, like how can you build these systems to better become her? And so something I like to do when it comes to becoming her is breaking it down in 4 categories. This is something that I actually do in real life, and I'm currently doing it as we speak, right? So when we think about the categories, I want you to think about mindset, right? Yeah, mindset. Sorry, y'all, I'm outside. And I'm gonna keep that in there because y'all, like, this is really what real life is, not the curated, unedited versions that we see on TikTok or on YouTube or anything like that, right? But anyways, as I was saying, number 1, first category is mindset. What or how does the future self think, right? Think about life, think about herself, think about her journey, things like that, right? Number 2, self-image. How does she see herself? Because self-image does matter, right? Number 3, routines. What does she do daily? Number 4, yeah, that's what I said. See, she'll tell you, right? Number 4, energy. How does she feel in her body and her spirit, right? Now, understand, this is not a timeline that you have to work on, because you don't have to become her tomorrow or even in a month or even in a year. But what matters is you starting now, because again, it's the simple things that builds up on a consistent basis that makes you do what that gives you the transformations, right? So what I want you to do is pick one thing from each category to focus on for the next 30 days, because it does take 30 days to build a new habit. So for me, for my mindset, I no longer talk down on myself, right? I have a tough inner critic, okay? I am a Virgo. My mom is an Asian mom, and she was raised by an Asian mom and a militant dad. So trust me when I say that inner critic is tough, right? Then my self-image, right? I take 5 minutes every day in the morning to take care of my appearance, right? Sometimes I'm going to do a full face of makeup. Sometimes it's just going to be my skincare routine. Speaking of routine, my 3rd thing, again, I wake up earlier before the kids, so that way I make sure I have time to myself literally every single morning. And then number 4, energy. I like to do Pilates before I go to bed. And trust me when I say Pilates before bed, it's a 10 out of 10. Sorry, y'all. It started raining, so we had to move the video indoors. But as always, the show must go on. But before we get back into today's video, I would like to share with y'all my offerings, just in case y'all would like to support me in other ways besides subscribing to my YouTube channel. In the description box or the pinned comments, I would link my website to where you can purchase my t-shirts. It says Universe Co-Creator, Move with Sacred Action. I know it's not doing the best justice on camera because of the lighting, but trust me when I say you can see it way better in person. As well as I have a digital course on how to create a sustainable soft life using not only the moon cycle but your Mars sign as well. And yes, I said Mars sign. I know we tie Mars to being the planet of masculinity, but moving through this 3D world, we still need to be in touch with our masculine energy, as well as it tells us like literally what fuels us, what gives us passion, and what we pour our energy into. So that could be a great asset, or it is a great asset when it comes to creating a soft life. As well as I have a digital ebook called From Chaos to Clarity, where again I help you shift your mindset while you navigate motherhood in order again to create a more easeful life. As well as I have a free mini guide on how to create a soft life for yourself, as well as if you're interested in starting a business, whether it's a digital business or a physical product. I have 2 different courses you can sign up for on how to start a business called Royal Business Academy, as well as Digital Boss Academy. I decided to try out both because both of them have different things that they offer, so you can see which one works best for you. Again, link will be in the description box or in the pinned comment. So back to today's video, okay? It would be cool if I knew how to edit videos and I'd be like, right, but anyways, we're not there yet. I do remember leaving off where we talked about my energy, and I was talking about how I do Pilates before bed. As a manifesting generator, someone who has to burn up my sacral energy before I go to bed in order to get a good rest, Pilates is definitely the way to go. So if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, 10 out of 10. It helps us burn our last bit of sacral energy without giving us more sacral energy, right? Like, you know, most people, they work out during the day. I work out during the day sometimes too, but Pilates during the night, it helps, like, you know, really calm my sacral center to help me get a better sleep, as well as drinking some calming tea. I like this honey vanilla It's honey, vanilla, and chamomile tea. Works wonder. Gives me the best sleep, I'm telling you. But yeah, and also too, something I like to do is on the mornings where I take my kids to school, me and my son and my daughter, we will go on a walk after we drop the big girls off, and I will count that as, you know, obviously an exercise. And it gives me an opportunity to allow my son to lead. You know, they say that men are the leaders, right? I'm teaching my son responsibilities and leadership at a young age. So what we'll do is we'll go for a walk. When we get to a corner, I'll be like, son, which way you want to go? He'll be like, this way or that way. And I'm like, okay, cool, we're going that way. One time he led us to a pond, and it was so beautiful. Got to sit there and meditate by some water. And then we walked home, and yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, go ahead and get back into it. But yeah, this is how real change happens, slowly and intentionally with room for grace. Again, if you pick one thing from each area and focus on it for 30 days, because it takes 30 days to build a habit, you're not taking on too much. And honestly speaking, if you can't focus on one thing from each category, pick one thing from two, or just one thing from one category. Like, remember, this is your life. You know what your plate is really looking like, and you know what you can realistically handle. So remember, becoming her for you is for you. You know, I can give you the advice, but you got to make it palatable for you and for what you got going on, right? And when you do this and you give yourself grace for the times where you fall off, or the times where you're just not able to push at 100 like you're normally able to do, when you're able to get back up, you know, it makes things, again, a lot easier, a lot softer. And when you're giving yourself grace, guess what? No matter which one of these you choose, the one thing that you're helping yourself with is your mindset, right? Your mindset is, I'm giving myself grace. I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm not going to sit up here and push myself to do something that I realistically know I can't do right now. And because I can't do it doesn't mean that I'm a failure, right? You see how that works? Boom, everything goes into one another. Everything is connected. And why this especially works for moms, one thing we have to understand, overstand, is that we're not lazy, y'all. It doesn't matter if you have one kid or if you have 15 kids. We all have our hands full with kids, or with a job if you have a job, and with a job if you have kids and a job, right? So of course you're not going to be able to do what Susie with no kids get to do, okay? And remember, we're not behind. Like, again, comparing our lives to people who started off with kids, started with no kids, and then they get to the point where they're successful enough to have kids, or they're having support system throughout their motherhood journey. Like, comparison is the thief of joy. Remember that, okay? You're not behind. Also too, we're overloaded. We are the end all be all, the beginner and the finisher. And because of that, you have to remember, you don't have to do everything overnight. You don't have to do everything in a week. You don't have to do everything in 30 days, or in 3 months, or in 6 months, or in 9 months, or even a year. Like, this is your timeline. You know what you realistically can do, how you can do, and when you can do. This is, again, your life. You're becoming your version of her, not my version of her, not society's version of her, right? And why? Of course, this avoids burnout and disappointment, right? Again, the reason why many of us feel like we are failing is because we're trying to do too much too fast, even subconsciously. A lot of the times we don't realize that we're trying to keep up with a rat race until it's too late and we're burnt out, and it's like, damn, I'm trying to keep up and shit, and I'm falling further behind because now I got to take rest, right? And so when you can't keep up, you really think that you aren't good enough. But guess what, y'all? The real growth, the real her energy comes from slowing down and doing less. And a literal example for this is a recent example, right? Now, it normally takes me a long time to do some housework, right? Between having a baby and a 2-year-old, it takes me a long time to do housework, right? As well as teaching my older kids responsibilities and things like that. But this week we've been sick, so I haven't really been doing too much. And yesterday I actually decided to keep my kids home from school because they weren't doing well at all, right? So after I made our morning tea and I made our electrolyte water and I made our breakfast, we rested for hours, right? I had the 2 little ones, we was napping, and then the 3 big girls, you know, they was on their phones or on their iPads, and they was doing their thing, playing their games or whatever, right? And when I woke up, I fixed us lunch, gave us some more tea, gave us some more electrolyte water, right? And after that was said and done, we cleaned up this apartment in less than 30 minutes. And I was able to do 3 loads of laundry, wash and dry. Did I fold and put up? Absolutely not, okay? I wasn't even trying to do all of that we've done in the day, but I did it anyways, right? Because I did nothing and I honored my body to do nothing, when I had that energy to do something, I was able to do it all. And guess what? My kids also were listening to their bodies. When it was time to clean up, they literally cleaned up with no back talk, no resistance, none of that, right? Because again, we was honoring our bodies, and because we rested, like our energy literally built up, and it was like, okay, now it's time to come out, right? Literally, that's how it works. The less you do, the more you can do when it's time to actually do, right? And of course, how does this build long-term confidence, right? Contrary to popular belief, this is something that I believed in for many years, but I didn't know how to articulate it until recently, right? 1, confidence doesn't come from perfection, right? It comes from keeping promises to yourself. Like, obviously, when you say that you're going to do something, do it. Even if you have to put a little bit of energy towards it because that's all you have, the fact that you kept a promise to yourself means everything, right? And second of all, confidence does not come from affirmations, okay? It does not. Affirmations could be a tool. I'm not against affirmations. However, confidence comes when you accomplish the things that you want to do, right? So, for example, you're on your journey of weight loss, right? Your confidence don't come from looking in the mirror saying, I'm at my goal weight, or I'm at my goal figure, or I'm able to wear my goal outfit. Again, although it works, I'm not against it. That's not where real confidence comes from. The confidence comes from the finished product when you reach that ideal weight, when you got into your favorite outfit or whatever you may have it, because it's done, right? You get to finally brag about the thing that you have done, and that's what gives you confidence. Not just saying affirmations. Or let's take it a bit simpler, right? Let's say you want to work on eating 3 meals a day for a week straight, right? Something very simple, but to some people it's very complicated, right? You're not going to get the confidence by affirming to yourself, I eat 3 meals a day, or I love eating 3 meals a day, or whatever affirmations you may say, right? The confidence comes the first day you make 3 meals a day, and it's like, damn, I made 3 meals today. One day, damn. Second day, you make 3 meals the second day. Damn, I made freaking 6 meals in 2 days. You know, and like you see me getting excited as if I'm actually doing it, because that's where the confidence comes. So when you've made your 3 meals for the whole entire week, it's like, yo, I did it. Yo, I made my 3 meals for 7 days a week. Like this is not even something I'm experiencing, but you see how excited I'm getting just for using it as an example. That's how confidence really works, okay? So when you keep your word to yourself and you really, get the finished products, you're going to get the self-belief that you need. You're going to get the self-esteem that you need. And although it sounds hard, it's literally that simple, right? And the more you build trust, the more aligned your outer world, the more you build your inner trust, the more your outer world will align to your inner world, right? Because that's how literally becoming her works. That's how manifestation works. It works when you do the internal work. And then once you're internally on a certain frequency, on a certain timeline, everything else will start to manifest, right? Again, remember, becoming her isn't about becoming someone new. It isn't about, it's about, returning to the you that was already there that was stripped away from society, or that was stripped away from your responsibilities, right? Becoming her is just literally becoming you. Like, how are you the best version of yourself? Again, how do you talk to yourself? How do you view yourself? What do you do to honor yourself, right? Everything is about self. When you become her, you have to be her, not mommy, not wifey, not best employee, not best teacher. How can you become the best version of you? And yeah, I know 110% that you got this. I believe in you. If nobody else believes in you, even if you don't believe in yourself, trust me, Yoneko believes in you, okay? Even if you got to say that in your head, Yoneko believes in me. She told me she believed in me. 'Cause let me tell you, you can do anything that you want to do if you put your mind and your actions towards it. So I'm going to leave that there. As y'all see, my kids are needing me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day or evening whenever you are watching this.